Do you know what? No one could hear me. I really apologise to the Twitch stream there. Thankfully, that entire conversation was muted. Do you know, it's really good because thankfully what you were just hearing was not the best of this stream. As some of you may have noticed from the things that were going on the video, I was struggling to actually get the webcam video from Skype to appear in the stream. But we have it now. Welcome back. Thank you all for sticking with us. I'm joined today by actor Liam McCauley, who played Dallas in Escape Velocity, and who also played Pietro De Vanda in the erstwhile Lave Revolution audio drama. So welcome, Liam.
Hi. Hi. Hello.
Now we've just before you joined us, we'd actually started the the tour of locations from Escape Velocity, and I realised how much it was stretching my memory to remember all the intricate plot details of Series 1. So I don't know how much better you're going to fare.
Right, yeah. I can remember pieces.
So, so we've got this bit from Series 1 where obviously you and Lorand, played by Rebecca Keeves, who hopefully is joining us later, had sent assassins after Thane and May while they were refuelling in the Mila system. Does any of this sound familiar?
The name of the system that we couldn't pronounce, even though we had it written in front of us, is starting to ring bells.
Yeah, you remember
For what it's worth, Liam, I was calling it Myola 2.
So many takes, yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't get any of the names right.
It was funny. It was one of those things, and it was hilarious as well because when we and actually this was true throughout doing a lot of the audiobooks, was that, you know, because there's not really much in the way of speech in Elite Dangerous, an awful lot of the system names and place names, you know, I had to kind of make them up and kind of do. And some of the writers had actually provided me with pronunciation guides. So Drew was particularly good, but there were still a couple of things that stuff got called that we just had no idea.
I remember vaguely that wasn't there a discussion on the Elite Dangerous forum going on about how some of the pronunciations have been done.
Yeah,
in one of the threads on there.
There was a bit of a thing. So for those of you that don't know, Liam is actually a bit of a gamer, and actually Liam was, even when we were making Escape Velocity, Liam is you're a notorious lurker, aren't you, on the Elite Dangerous forums? You rarely post, but you are there.
I'd watch.
Yeah. So what's your kind of, you know, in terms of, so looking back, so particularly when we very, very first started, what's your kind of enduring memory of coming and recording the stuff we did for Escape Velocity?
Okay, so it's two different types of recording we had. So the later types of recording, which was in the actual studio, but the more interesting stuff was beforehand. So I think probably the most memorable moment was me in your spare bedroom with a quilt draped over my head, screaming very loudly for the torture
Please
scene.
tell me this was in the height of summer as well.
Do you know, it really was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was light outside, I think.
It was August.
So people would have heard it.
Yeah, I vaguely remember it was August. It was one of the hottest days of the year, and this was when we did. This was actually season 2 of Escape Velocity. So the stuff Liam's talking about, the stuff you're talking about in the studio was all Lave Revolution, because we didn't have. I've actually never had this studio for recording Escape Velocity, which is one of the reasons I'm really stoked about Series 3, because I can kind of do it properly. But yeah, I decided for season 2 that I wanted to record the entire series at once. So this was a little experiment. I had 5 episodes written for Series 2, and I thought, yeah, we'll do all those. We'll do all those at one time. If I remember, Liam, you weren't free on. No, you were going to America, weren't you?
Is it? Yeah, this is when I went to America. So
yeah, that's right. So you were going to America. Yeah, you were
ago?
going to America with work for about, was it like 6 weeks or something?
Yeah, 6 weeks.
Yeah, and so I'd realised that if I needed to use Liam for the series, I had to get in and record with him before he went to the States. Otherwise, I was going to completely miss him. So I didn't have availability for any of the other actors, so I basically got Liam to come on his own, and he came to the house, and we had this set up, because back in those days I used to record Escape Velocity at the Wheatsheaf Theatre, and we'd go on the stage.
Yes,
and
all
we'd
the
have
recording
curtains.
beforehand was at the theatre. Yeah,
That's right, yeah. And we'd have curtains front and back to sort of keep the sound nice and dead. We couldn't use the theatre that day. So yeah, you came to the house, and the best I could do was I basically hung a duvet over the bedroom door, and I hung a duvet over this tall standing lamp, which is actually in here today. And you sort of stood between these two duvets with them over your head. And it was a really hot day.
it was really
and you recorded,
claustrophobic.
Yeah, and you recorded for about...
It was
3
hours.
wasn't it?
We went on really late.
Yeah, it was crazy. And if I don't know how many of you remember the sort of opening of Series 2, but it begins with Liam being tortured. So the first thing we recorded was Liam just screaming for about half an hour and kind of going, "No, don't do this to me anymore." And of course, because it was such a hot day, it was in August, we had all the windows open. Not in the room we were recording in, but the rest of the rooms in the house.
I'm sure your neighbours heard that.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
Liam, I can definitely emphasise with this. You know, I take part in a fan production called Dockers, which is a lot lower brow than Escape Velocity, but my character has been... Yeah, I've been tortured as well, shall we say, and screaming various things as various things are getting inserted into me, and I'm recording this. I was recording this one day. Inserted into me.
Right, okay.
Yes, without permission.
Okay.
But I was busy recording all my lines, and there's some 8-year-old girl playing football in the street outside, and it's high to summer, my windows are wide open, and I'm like, I'm going to get her parents out, because I am saying something, I'm yelling and screaming, and doing some so dodgy things here.
But you kind of get lost in the moment, don't you? You end up
You
enjoying
do.
it too much.
No. I mean, my throat was ruined for about 3 days afterwards.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
But it was
I think that was
worth it.
actually... I seem to remember, Liam, you were struggling with your throat a bit, and I actually think with what I kind of know, you know, obviously having done a lot more recording stuff now, we should really have done your screaming at the end of the recording, not at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, but another way is, it's quite good. A good warm up as well.
Yeah, it built. Yeah, and it built the
So
continuity.
I find
feel
as well
performance
over
as well.
over recording session, my voice changes.
Yeah, that's it. And it did, and it gave you the kind of lead into the character, because it gave you that perspective of. It's quite nice with the actors to be able to record their stuff in order, because then it gives them the continuity, you know, of what's happening to them. So yeah, and so what? So you game as well. So what are you playing? Not right this minute, but what are you sort of playing at the moment?
Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh, okay.
So I've been playing that. I've been playing that recently when I've had a chance to. So I've not had an awful lot of free time. Been doing a lot at the theatre up until the last 4 weeks. Last 4 weeks, I've not been doing anything with the theatre. It's been really nice. But before that, it's every evening near enough you're up at the theatre rehearsing or doing a show, or I'm at work working late. So I haven't really had much time to do gaming. But the last couple of weeks I've been getting into Elder Scrolls Online.
Okay, cool.
Really good, really good. And I'm actually just waiting for Fallout 4 to be released now. I can't wait for Fallout 4.
I believe a lot of people are waiting for that.
Yeah.
I'm probably, yeah. I'm so more excited about the release of DLC for Invisible Ink. That's just me.
Well, yesterday we went into the city centre. Went into CEX and I got Fallout 3 for the Xbox 360.
Oh, cool.
Now I've read about this backwards compatibility they're bringing out on Xbox One.
Yeah.
So I thought it was actually here already. So I put
no,
Fallout
yeah.
3 into the Xbox One, and no, it didn't work. So I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks that they'll release it and I'll actually be able to play it without having to hook up the Xbox 360. Because I'm a bit too lazy to do that.
Yeah.
You don't have a PC that can play it on, no?
I have, but my PC's locked away. So I don't really use the PC. I use my laptop, or I've got the Xbox in the living room, so I'm actually doing the Skype on the Xbox in the living room. So
Okay.
I'm more console gamer at the moment.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that I love about the Fallout community. The modding community in Fallout, I think, is so great. Just same with the Grand Theft Auto as well. I love all the mods that the guys do.
Well, you can really do that on the PC. I do miss the mods. I used to play World of Warcraft. I don't think I'd be able to get by without add-ons and mods.
Oh, I don't think
so.
no, I don't think anyone could with that.
No, definitely not. Elder Scrolls is difficult without. Well, it's not difficult. It's different without add-ons and mods.
Okay, cool. Now, a risk of creating a slightly hostile audience here. Have you nipped into Elite Dangerous at all?
Yes, I have.
Is that since the Xbox release?
The Xbox release, yeah. So I saw the beta arrived on the Xbox Store a couple of weeks ago, and I downloaded it and I installed it. I couldn't play at first because the linking of my Xbox One, like your live account to the Elite Dangerous account didn't work, so I left it another week, and then it started working afterwards. So yeah, I got into my ship and I did some of the video tutorials, and then I crashed into a space station. I couldn't land. So I was playing for about 45 minutes and crashed the ship. I think it blew up.
Well, you must have crashed pretty hard then.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't played it since.
Oh, okay.
Because I think it's only you get a certain amount of time on there, so I haven't had a chance to play it. But it looks really good. I was surprised actually at how good it looked.
Yeah, it's a very nice looking game. So going back in terms of the in terms of recording stuff, I mean that marathon session we did for season 2, I'd have to give Liam all credit for that, because that was not only an amazing feat of kind of stamina, but I mean your entire performance in season 2 is just all opposite me. Me just pretending to be all the other characters.
Yeah, I season 2 I found quite difficult to do. So season 1 is where we were recording in the theatre. Yeah, and it's really different. Recording in the theatre with other people, and it's like you're just acting it like you would on stage, or apart from having to leave gaps so that you can record us properly. But season 2, yeah, that was really difficult.
Yeah, it was a challenge.
Yeah, because I had no idea what the pace was going to be, and other than what we were doing together. Yeah.
Fun
totally.
Though. And I think, didn't I? Trying to remember if there was that very last scene at the end of season 2 which we put on where you'd kind of flown off. You'd done your bit and you'd flown off. And I'm trying to remember if that very last scene with you ended up being you and Anne Collins, but obviously you didn't record with Anne Collins. I'm trying to remember if I wrote that on the day. I'm trying to remember if I suddenly remembered that we needed like something else. It didn't quite feel wrapped up, and I needed something else for your character to kind of have at the end of that season to kind of set up your ongoing sort of journey.
I don't remember. I don't know. It was a while ago, Chris. It was a while ago.
It was.
I do remember there were one of the scenes where we weren't quite sure what the ending was going to be like, so we did a few different versions of it.
Yeah. That's cool. So what are your do you have any sort of hopes or aspirations for the next series in terms of, because I should tell you this, so obviously, for those of you who are listening, we are, today is all about Escape Velocity. We are streaming some Elite Dangerous, we are celebrating all things Escape Velocity, and we are funding Escape Velocity through Patreon. And thank you to everyone who's been on yesterday and today. We are now funded for the next episodes of Escape Velocity, and hopefully, because of the way Patreon goes on with ongoing support, hopefully you guys will stick with us, and we are funded for many episodes to come. So we are actually already through our initial milestones. So we are in fact, we've already hit some of our stretch tiers. So we are currently at $592.50 per episode.
Wow!
So don't be excited. That doesn't all come to you, Liam.
No.
But that
No.
does mean that we are well into making some really cool stuff, and thank you all so much for getting on that. We do have the initial milestone tier of physical rewards, and I'm afraid I haven't actually updated which pledge tiers get that. So apologies. I will look into that and work out what it is. I did have it all worked out previously, and then I realised that my maths was wrong because of it all being in dollars. I can give you guys a ballpark figure. It is somewhere around. Nope, I'm going to have to work it out. Sorry. I thought I knew, but I didn't. I'm going to have to work it out and get back to you guys, and I'm not going to be able to do it while I'm on air, figure it out, so apologies for that. But anyway. So yeah, do you have any sort of, aspirations for the ongoing series, what you'd like to do?
Hopefully, no more torturing.
Wow.
Because, like I said, that was quite difficult. Little bit odd as well, but slightly fun.
We do have the
Maybe
studio.
more fun than it should have been. Yeah. Yeah, no one else will hear that then, will they?
And unless they're
I
literally
don't know.
right outside the house.
I don't know. I think it'd be nice for the character to become a little bit more sinister. I don't think I've ever played a proper baddie before. I don't know, because I don't think he was really much of a baddie.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, he was kind of, it was certainly Series 1, he was sort of Loran's second fiddle, wasn't
Just
he?
the side, yeah, like the sidekick, and
Yeah.
but he wasn't really evil. They weren't really evil, were they? They were just doing what they were doing their thing, what they had to do.
Yeah.
So it might be nice to, possibly go a bit more sinister.
Okay, you want to push it more in that direction, that's interesting. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, really. I'm not sure.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Sinister. I've never done sinister.
Cool. And so yeah, so in terms of the other thing we could talk about is you because we were talking before about how before I did Escape Velocity, we did some of those comedy adverts for the Late Radio podcast. Now you are in some of those. Do you remember doing those?
Yes, I remember. Yeah, I remember them, and I did actually hear them on the podcast as well.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I
please
did
do
listen to some of the early podcasts.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm trying to think what we did was the really early ones. I know we definitely did the one about the warm jumpers, the Sparks and Mensa. It was you and Janet, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Was there something about insurance on a ship?
Yeah.
Was there?
Yeah.
There was.
I'm waiting to see how much you remember.
So there was insurance on a ship. Because did we record these at my house?
You did. We were rehearsing for.
Zoo Story? No.
That's right.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
That was a very long time ago. Yeah, it was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a while ago.
So feel free to tell the story about the show if you want.
About the
I don't
Zoo
want to talk
Story?
over you. I don't want to talk over you because I can remember now. Now it's gone in my head. I can remember it, but.
Okay, so the Zoo Story was a one-act play that we did. It went in the newspaper. I think the newspaper got the story slightly wrong about what it was all about. But yeah, basically you played a nut job, and I played a nice gentleman in New York. Had a strange encounter with each other, and I ended up killing you on stage with a fight scene at the end.
Yeah, the trick
where
knife.
I could never remember the lines because it was all the same. And it depended on what evening it was how fast the fight escalated, logically or not.
Yeah.
Nice fight scene between us where a lovely jumper, one of my favourite jumpers, was completely ripped and torn all round here on my shoulder.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, well, it's okay. It was quite old, but it's a nice jumper. And the knife one evening fell apart in your hand. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
So we'd got this trick knife for the show, which was like a flick knife thing. But then when you kind of stabbed into the person with it, the blade retracted. And one of the nights we did the show, Liam got the knife out, or I got the knife. I can't remember which.
Is this where I had to grab your hand? I had to grab your hand in a certain
No, this is
certain
it. So,
way.
yeah, so I got the knife out and pressed the button for the knife to flick out, and the whole blade just shot out the handle. And I'm standing there on stage with this handle in my hand and this piece of like silver-coloured plastic metal on the floor. And we had to try and do this stabbing and my death scene or your death scene. I can't even remember which one it was. Completely, we had to completely wing that. And it was just hilarious. And I remember at the time, because for those of you that don't know, Zoo Story is set in New York, and it's very much it's a New York play, and it's one of these things where you can't really take the play and put it in another context, because the references and the kind of lifestyle that it's talking about really only work in a kind of American idiom. So you and I had been learning to kind of do an American accent. And we had this thing. So I was doing live radio podcasts, and every now and again on the podcast, I'd kind of change into this accent that I was working on for the play. And I would say, well, I need to try and sustain this American accent. So I'm going to practice it on you guys. And I need to practice certain words that are kind of hard for me to say because I don't know the accent too well. Words like floor and door were causing me particular problems. And then you were going to... you were going to bars, weren't you? And you were kind of talking to random strangers, and because you were single then.
Yeah. So I'd go out. I'd go out in the evening.
Yeah, and you were trying to convince people on your evenings out. You were kind of pretending to be American.
Yeah, and I got away with it quite a lot. My friends hated me because they hated the accent. It was so annoying. I had people following me on Twitter, saying, such a nice American young man, really convinced that I was from New York. And of course, when people were asking me these random questions, I'd just be in character as Peter, and I'd be spieling off all these things that he mentions during the play, about where I live and what's going on, and absolute garbage, rubbish, nonsense. But it worked, and I can't do the accent anymore. But I think I don't think it was too bad. I think it was,
No, I think
passable.
I think we have an advantage that obviously our theatre is in England, and I think if we'd had a lot of Americans in the audience, I think we might have struggled to get away
I think
with
it would have been different then. It would have been different.
Certainly for the Brits, I think we were hopefully convincing enough. And and this gives you guys some of an insight into. So, I can't speak for anybody else because I'm not the only person that produces spoof ads for live radio. That'd be a massive lie for me to claim that. But as a bit of an insight, one of the reasons why maybe there hasn't been as much new content in terms of adverts as there was in that initial rush, because I was doing this play with Liam, and I was going back and forth to the theatre all the time. And if you've kind of got actors around you, it's actually very easy. I mean, these guys are really talented, and it's really easy to turn up with like a 2-side script and just say at the end of a rehearsal, look, can I grab you guys for like 5 minutes and we'll just record these 2 sides, and we'll do it in like 1 or 2 takes and it'll be fine. Whereas actually it's quite hard to actually get actors together for the sake of like 5-10 minutes recording. So since I've not been doing as many shows at the theatre, it's been a lot harder for me to kind of throw these adverts together. But all
that means is you need to get back involved with the theatre.
Well, this is true. I mean, this is true. I would like.
You walked into that one, Chris.
I know. Yeah. I know. I would like to at some point. I do like doing the theatre, and it's just obviously got baby now, and I don't actually live in the town that I lived in anymore. That I was a member of that theatre, so it's a little bit of a drive, but it's not too bad.
There's some amazing shows coming up, so.
Yeah, should be good.
Really good ones.
And I'm going to say this quietly because I don't want to do it this year because I'm going to be really busy. But I would like to come back and do Panto again. But I'll say that. I've
just seen our Panto script. It's really good.
Yeah, I won't be able to do it this year. Partly because I've got Escape Velocity to make now, and I've also got the Chaos Reborn audio stuff to do. But yeah, I would like to come back to the theatre and do more stuff. So yeah. So yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that would be.
We went off on a tangent, weren't we?
Yeah. No, I'm just trying
radio.
to. I'm hoping that
adverts.
Yeah, I'm hoping that everyone who's watching is fans of Escape Velocity. If you're watching this stream and you are not aware of Escape Velocity, but you are huge fans of Elite Dangerous, and you're wondering why we're talking about loads of stuff that's not Elite Dangerous, so Escape Velocity is my fan series. It's an audio podcast. It's a full cast audio drama set in the world of Elite Dangerous. And off the back of today's funding, I haven't got the thing up. Off the back of today's funding, we are going to be able to produce... Oh, not that one. We are going to be able to produce more episodes of Escape Velocity. And there it is. And yeah, today that is what we are talking about today. We'll find a space. Let me find a space on the display for that. There we go. So that's why we're talking about random stuff and not necessarily flying around stars just at the minute. I'm just trying to think what else would be interesting to people who are fans of Escape Velocity. We've been quite efficient with that. All the best anecdotes. So now obviously we have the studio here now, and hopefully, with a bit of luck. So obviously we've got the experience now of having done the Lave Revolution audio drama, which was, I have to say, I mean, if we thought the recordings for Escape Velocity were massive, I mean, the stuff we did for Lave Revolution just took forever to record, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think I originally planned you in for... I think we originally said it was going to be like 2 recording sessions, and didn't it end up being 3?
Oh God! And they were near enough all day as well.
Yeah, it was.
Not quite all day, but it was long.
Yeah.
Many hours.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm still talking about this audio drama that none of you guys have heard, and we're not sure totally what's happening with. But Lave Revolution's is a huge and very involved book. It's an excellent book with a lot of characters. And yeah, the finished, if I'm going to kind of mention it, but if we manage to get it finished, the whole Lave Revolution audio drama is like 5.5 hours, and you're in most of it, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm actually because I'm sat here on the Xbox.
Ooh.
So my headset is plugged into the controller. And every now and again, because I'm not touching the controller, it turns itself off. So then the mic turns off, and then your audio comes out of the TV again. So I've just turned that back on.
Keep it wiggling.
But yeah, sorry, yeah. I'll have to keep pressing buttons randomly.
Yeah.
I think it was a big character, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was a real labour of love. But I mean, just talking about that. So the experience I've got now from having recorded Lave Revolution, which was a huge demand in terms of scheduling and getting actors in and recording time. So it does mean that hopefully we can. It does mean that hopefully with this time round we can schedule the recording with a bit more sanity. I say that it's probably going to end up being over the Christmas break because of when Amy's around, but hopefully we'll be able to this time get you in the studio alongside the guys you're actually going to be performing
with other people. That'll be nice. Not that it isn't nice when it's just me and you, but with other people it'd be lovely as well.
Yeah. So Azimrich in Twitch chat is asking, was it just Dallas you played in Escape Velocity? That's an excellent question.
No, in the very first episode, I think it was, I was I want to say air traffic controller. I don't know what the guys are actually called in the space station, but I was the American air traffic controller, practicing my very bad American accent.
Because that was the American accent.
I've got to say that was before I'd done it.
But that was in the process of working on the American accent for Z Story, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So yeah, that was you in season 1. You were the guy that didn't want to give Thane a landing pad.
Yeah, no, and he just landed anyway.
That's interesting. That's cool.
Who else? I might have been. Yes, I think there was a point in one. I don't know if it was season 1 or season 2. I think it was season 1, where some hired thugs were trying to apprehend, and I was one of the grunts. So I did. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. There was this. Yeah, there were these 2 sort of monosyllabic bodyguards. All they kind of said was,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was air traffic control and a grunt.
So it was always the challenge, and particularly early on with Escape Velocity, because I was using a lot of the same people over and over again. It was always a challenge of getting people to play multiple characters, sometimes when they'd just been in a scene as someone else. And I was always trying to, get people to do stuff. I'm really glad I planned ahead and got you to do the American accent for the character that was only in one scene, and let you do kind of a voice that was not your own voice, but more similar to your own voice for the character that would end up kind of going on and on and on.
Which is better, because that'll be a bit of an easier voice to sustain.
Yeah. So that's cool. So so thank you. I've got to do a huge shout out to thank you very much to Dave Hughes in Twitch chat, because I'm kind of trying to be a good host and talking and stuff. I am not remembering to post the Patreon link into Twitch chat. So Dave is doing an excellent job there of putting a clickable link in there, and it is also displayed on screen down here. I have now remembered to put it up. So we are looking at milestone tiers for the Escape Velocity Patreon now. We are the next tier is quite a high one up, and it should give us enough funds to be able to produce CDs for people at back. So the idea with the CDs, so in the same way that with the USB sticks, if you support the series for an entire 6 episodes, there'll be USB sticks coming out to you. The CD rewards are a bit more immediate. It's basically going to be every 2 episodes. So off the top of
what are the CD awards?
The CD rewards are basically the episodes that people support. We're going to put 2 episodes on a CD and send it to the people that supported those 2 episodes. So it'll be like a proper CD version you can stick in your car if you've still got a CD player. CDs are kind of old school. This is why I'm not sure how many people will actually want them, because I really like CDs because I like the inlay sleeves and I like the artwork, but actually they seem to be less popular than other formats now. So I think CD is going the way of vinyl. But I'm going to experiment, certainly with Series 1, with doing CD rewards, and maybe we'll see how it goes. And what that means is that some of the extra behind-the-scenes stuff that we'll be doing during Series 3, basically a CD is 1 hour and 15 minutes, so we can put 2 episodes on a CD, and then there's 15 minutes worth of space that we can fill with all kinds of behind-the-scenes stuff. So that's the plan.
Outtakes, I hope.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it'll...
We love bloopers!
Yeah.
Oh.
And what I'm going to do is there's a little digital inlay sleeve that the digital backers will get, but actually for the CD I'm going to format that in a way that's like a folding inlay sleeve, so that'll be on the CD. So it'll just be like a nice little thing to have. But yeah, that's.
What about the USB sticks then? What's going on
with
that?
So the USB sticks are. They are these. It's basically a USB stick that's the size and rough. It's a little bit thicker, but it's basically the size and shape of a credit card. So you can keep it in a credit card slot, but the USB bit pops out, and it's basically it'll be printed front and back with Escape Velocity artwork. And
could you put the
episodes on it?
Could you put the episodes on that as well?
Yeah, we're going to.
You're not able to get the data on it.
Yeah, we're doing that already.
Good.
We're doing that already. So yeah, that's something we're looking at, and if we start getting near to our next milestone tier, which is $770 per episode, I'll put the next pledge tier up. Actually, do you know what? I'm kind of unsure about it. I'm going to ask Twitch chat. Should I replace the current milestone tier, which is currently CDs? Would people rather the next milestone tier was originally commissioned Escape Velocity artwork, or should I leave it as CDs? Should we put CDs on the back burner if they're kind of unpopular with people, and actually use that next milestone tier to pledge content? I'm going to put that out there to the Twitch stream. You guys can chat about it, and I'll kind of keep an eye on that and see what you guys are talking about. I'm a little bit reticent to do. I'm a little bit reticent to do polls and stuff, because I have this thing where if you've got like 30 backers and you do like a poll, and say 27 of your backers vote for one thing and 3 of your backers vote for another thing, you've got a majority, but actually what you've done is alienated 3 of your backers who've actually got just as valid a voice as everyone else. But I'm kind of, one of the things I've learned from the Chaos Kickstarter, that's tinyurl.com/chaos audio if you'd like even more audio drama, is oh, thank you. Hey, Hannah, my wife is learning lots of brownie points today. I have new mug. And it's not just, do you know what? It's not just Elite. Look at this.
Oh, if I had a video stream, I would look.
Look at that. Thargoid and Fer de Lance. I actually think this is the first Elite mug that I actually ever got. It was sent to me by Grant because they were doing Thargoid and Fer de Lance mugs and stuff. And so yeah, I'm really, really pleased with that. Yeah, people are saying in the Twitch chat, actually, I might change that stretch goal because one of the things I learned from the Chaos Reborn audio Kickstarter, the CD rewards, I mean, they've not had no uptake. There are some people that want CDs, but they've been much less popular than I thought they'd be. And, way and above, the more popular stuff has been the USB sticks. So that's why for this Patreon, I actually then made the USB sticks the first milestone tier, because I know people like them more. I think generally speaking, okay, I'm going to go in and change that, because generally speaking, people are saying that they would rather have artwork than CDs. Official Escape Velocity pickled eggs. We're not. I don't think we're doing that. So let me. Sorry, to alienate anyone back that might like pickled eggs. Let me go in and edit that now, because I don't want to have information up there that is unrealistic. So I need to do some maths in my head. Let me just change one then. Just go in and change this. Last minute change. And I might even lower it. Let me do some maths in my head. That goal can actually come down slightly if we're doing artwork next, off the top of my head. So let's save that. Okay, so our new milestone tier for Escape Velocity on the Patreon page, which is patreon.com/Radio Theatre Workshop. Our new milestone reward is 700 and... do you know, I've just typed it and I've forgotten it already.
20.
720. And apologies, the text for that is really really lame. So yeah, I think if we get to 720 per episode, I'm not sure if it will be for every episode, but it'll certainly be for every couple of episodes. And I'm using a figure provided to me by one artist that I know. So it might be, depending on which artists we're using, that we can maybe do it more regularly or whatever. But actually, I mean, I'm I'm a great advocate in kind of getting different people involved with things, but I'm also, I mean, as people know, I write Escape Velocity, I produce Escape Velocity, I'm in Escape Velocity. I do lots of things myself because I like to get stuck in, but I'm really terrible at artwork, and as anyone who's seen any of my kind of artwork that I try and do, I am really not the best. So one of the things I've wanted for a long time for Escape Velocity is to be able to get someone who is really good to come in and produce some art for us. I've got some ideas in my head of the kinds of things I'd like to see, but I need a proper artist to realise that, because I just don't have the capability. The extent of what I've even thought about doing is, because there's no Merlin in Escape Velocity, I've thought about going into Blender and trying to create my own 3D model of the Merlin ship, but even then what I'd be producing is just terrible. So someone's asking in Twitch about FLAC files. I'm not sure about the size of it. My understanding, and this is despite the fact I'm sitting in a studio, I am more of a drama guy than I am necessarily a tech guy. My understanding is that 320-bit MP3 was basically uncompressed. I could be incorrect about that. Maybe 320 kilobits is still slightly compressed. I do know that when I did the first series of Escape Velocity, I did have some completely uncompressed WAV files that went out, and they were enormous. Having said that, I think they were 500 meg, and so I think if we were to look at like a 4 gig USB stick, we could potentially get uncompressed stuff. I will definitely look into it for the USB sticks. I will look into uncompressed audio and whether that works. But yeah, because of the costings, I don't want to. I know that the costings I've done are right for 2 gig, and I know that none of the sizes below 2 gig were any less than the 2 gig ones. But I'll have to look into it. Someone saying using Blender. Yeah, I did. I used to use Blender for some game modding stuff. We were talking earlier about I was into the movies by Lionhead Studios, and I used to make my own game meshes so that I could import props into the game. But anyway, that's not Liam. We've got Liam here for a few more minutes. I have been in contact with Julian Gollop. He will be joining us at 5 o'clock. Sorry, you have to excuse me.
I'm interested in the artwork, actually.
You're
Sorry.
interested in artwork, okay.
Yeah, the artwork. So, are you thinking about getting an artist in them to, do some pictures of each episode of Escape Velocity?
That would be ideal. Do you know, if the budget for it works out well, I have to look at the milestones very carefully for Patreon. But I think if we can get to a certain level, we'd be able to commission a piece per episode. And obviously that's slightly dependent on his time, or any artist's time. I mean, I'm not just talking about one guy. I basically contacted this guy who does fantastic art in order to get a ballpark figure for how much it costs to get someone like him to do art. Sorry, Dr. Toxic in chat, the Escape Velocity tour is still ongoing. We only got as far as Mila because we keep chatting and it takes us a long time to travel between systems. So the Escape Velocity tour will be continuing later on down the line. I'd like to kind of, there's a few ways of doing it. It would be nice to pick like a particular scene from an episode and maybe get someone to do that as like a really nice kind of dramatic scene. I mean, this particular guy that I know is like a comic book artist. So if we wanted something that was like a comic
Escape Velocity comic.
That'd be amazing. We did a lot of tears for that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Toxic. That's fantastic. I'm not seeing things pop up anymore, so I don't know if the Patreon notifier has just died. It's entirely possible. It's not a very good piece of software that I'm using to bring up the... Basically, I've got this thing where when people pledge on Patreon, it pops up on the screen, and it's very hit and miss as to whether it works or not. Oh, and I need to actually edit it and change the next tier. But yeah, so that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to have stuff that basically reflects each episode, and I'd also like to have some kind of character studies. So it'd be really interesting to me for the sort of, the major characters in the story, like Dallas, like Thane, like May, as to whether or not we can do like character studies of those characters and kind of flesh them out a bit, because obviously it being audio drama, we don't really get a sense always of what these characters look like. And I just think it can kind of go either way. It could be terrible. We could draw them and people will say that doesn't look like how I imagined them, because I don't suppose for a moment anyone imagined Thane looks like me. Despite the fact he shares my voice. But I mean,
Dallas looks a bit like Liam.
Do you think?
I thought he had darker hair and black trench coat, but...
That's because Liam is slim and handsome, whereas no one thinks Thane looks like me.
Yeah, my trench coat, my black trench coat is hung up in the hallway, that way.
That's where we like it. Yeah.
I need to avoid the black trench coat thing, because it made me laugh when I was doing the other audio stuff that the main character in Lave Revolution is described as being bald with this kind of long black trench coat, and then one of the main characters in Drew's book was described as being bald with this long black trench coat. And I just thought, wow, all the guys in these elite things, they're the bald long trench coat club. But yeah.
What else would you wear over a skin tight?
Thank you, Hilaire.
Suit, basically.
Nice jumpsuit.
Oh, sorry.
You
know what?
You want your long things.
When you said skin tight clothing, that is not where my brain went. I thought, God, Ben? What do you imagine? What do you imagine these characters are wearing in Escape Velocity? It's all
you've seen
wear.
Our flight suits, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. I do know what you mean.
Yes.
Did I say? I can't remember if I said yes to that. I seem to remember the sizes. I looked at what Foz was saying about the sizes and just thought, count me out. I am not trying to squeeze into one of those. I've got a diving dry suit. That
it looked awesome.
Yeah, it does look awesome.
But God, I think they're looking for characters or elves or something like that. I don't know. It's like a 30-inch waist and a 50-inch leg.
So, Sellers is saying mug zoom hype. Dave, have you been hanging out in the Bob Ross Twitch stream by any chance? Because that's been amazing. If anyone's caught any of the Bob Ross Paints Twitch stream in the last week, it's just been incredible, and I'm so glad I caught it. But anyway, that's by the by. So Liam, so hopefully if we can get up to that next milestone, which is $720 per episode, we are, how far away are we? We are $127.50 away from getting to that level. We can hopefully commission some art, and I think that'd be really interesting.
And could we have the art before we record the episodes?
Oh.
Yeah, you're going to say no. No.
Long term.
Damn.
Long term, yes, we might be able to. Because with one of the things I've been talking to the guys on the Twitch stream is once today's over, I'm going to start communicating with my Escape Velocity backers through Patreon. And one of the things I want to get their permission for is to actually take one of the payments up front, so that we've got the budget to actually make the first episode, so that we're always one episode ahead, because that'd be personally very useful to me. But I'll just check that, because the idea is with Patreon, you charge people when you're releasing the thing that they've supported. But one of the things we could do is, if we get to a certain level and we actually take that initial funding, is we would then potentially be able to commission some art, which we might have before the first recording, potentially. It just depends.
Because that'd be fantastic. Just imagine the difference between all of us sat in the studio, but with a picture in front of us, so we could be there and in the moment.
That'd be really cool. I mean, I think the first thing, in terms of a priority, someone's suggesting a drinking game based on how often your Xbox camera zooms in. I think every time you take a drink from your mug, the camera zooms in on your mug. Yeah. You're in danger of becoming an internet meme.
Because it's such an interesting mug.
You're in danger of becoming an internet meme, because every time it zooms in, people are shouting mug hype. Which is really cool. I think my...
It's not doing anything. There we go.
It's typical webcam auto zoom. It never does it when you want it to. Sorry, that sounds really rude. Sorry, Dave, it's not halting.
It's the Kinect. It's the Kinect. It does what it wants to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my instinct with the original art, if we can do it, is to basically... my instinct is the first thing I'd really like for Escape Velocity, because what I've used for kind of marketing material for Elite has largely been screen grabs of the game with a bit of kind of text over the top, because the game is so beautiful. I can kind of use it for marketing purposes. But I think the earliest things I would like some original Escape Velocity artwork that can be used as the kind of the poster, if you like, for the series. But if we've got, hopefully that per episode thing would give us the ability to commission enough artwork that we can also do more kind of scenes that actually represent what's going on in the drama, because that'd be really cool. So we are coming up to
zoomed out again.
Yeah, we are coming up to 5 o'clock. I'm hoping that my second attempt to grab game design legend Julian Gollop is going to work and go ahead. Apologies for those of you that swear every time Chaos Reborn gets mentioned or appears. But if Julian comes on for about the next hour, we're going to be talking Chaos Reborn. I'm going to be streaming. It's not really single player, but I'm going to be streaming the it won't be matches. Basically, I'll be playing the realms. Which is sort of single player, but for some very important reasons it's not single player. It's a bit like Elite, even though you're playing it on your own. Sometimes players kind of come and join you or whatever. So I'm going to say thank you very much to Liam. Thank you for joining me for this hour. Hopefully people have enjoyed hearing about you and your attachment to Escape Velocity. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much, Liam.
No problem.
Cheers.
I need to re-download the game,
Nice to meet you.
and play it.
You need to, do play something. And I don't know if you can still get the lifetime expansion pass, but Planetary Landings is coming to Escape Velocity. It's coming to Elite Dangerous, and it's looking really nice. If you haven't seen the videos of Planetary Landings, it looks
definitely worth getting. Then
amazing. Yeah.
Will it teach me how to pronounce the star systems?
No.
No. Okay.
Brilliant.
There'll be plenty of outtakes still then.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to say thank you very much, Liam, and goodbye. And I will catch you again soon. See ya. Okay, I'm going to attempt to add Julian into the call.
Right. Chris, I would stop this call first. Your audio seems to have gone right funny.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
So I would stop and restart it.
Okay, well, I will just drop it then.
Sounds
and I
like
will
you've
call...
been talking underwater for the past couple of minutes.
Oh, really? Okay, well, I will break this call and I will call Julian directly. So I'll just talk to him. So if that's all right, Ben.
Yeah, I'm going to bow out of the wing and everything like that as well.
Okay.
And I'll be around, but I won't be on the stream or anything like that for the next hour while you're talking to Julian.
Cheers, Ben. Appreciate that.
So.
Thank you very much, Ben. Sorry, I think I just cut him off there. So I'm going to play if I can find it. I'm going to play you the opening music for. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play you the Kickstarter special Chaos Reborn audio drama, and I'm going to maybe leave you with a little plug for Chaos Reborn, and I'm going to be back in here in about 5 minutes with Julian Gollop talking about all things Chaos Reborn. So thank you very much. Don't go away. The Radio Theatre Workshop presents Chaos Reborn, The Audio Adventures, starring Di Reese and Christopher Jarvis. Special episode, The Living Forest, written and directed by Christopher Jarvis.
How much more of this forest is there?
You're quick to complain about your training?
Are you teaching me how to be a wizard, or how to trudge? I had no idea magic required I walk the whole way to Limbo.
Hardship is a part of life. This is yours. Skill requires study, dedication, practice. Magic might solve problems, but it's no shortcut. There's no easy life for us. No quick option. You want your enemy, you have to find him. Track him.
And kill him?
Well, not exactly. Send them back to Limbo.
The villagers said people die in your battles.
Yes, that is true.
But not wizards. The people you summon with to fight for you. They die.
You asked the big questions first, not how do I make a fire?
Magic is magic. I think I should know if I'm to command people to die for me.
But you should be asking about fire.
Why?
Because I need a fire.
And that's your answer?
Listen, you cannot change what you are. You have the mark. You have the power of a wizard. What kind of wizard you choose to be is up to you. Summon warriors, don't summon warriors. It's your choice. What isn't your choice is how I train you. And I say you need to gather firewood.
Fine.
I think I saw a fallen tree back that way. There should be some dry wood.
Okay. But if I'm killed by spiders because you sent me into the forest alone, I shall haunt you forever.
As you wish.
So what's in this for you?
Eh?
This wizard we hunt. Why do you want rid of him?
I don't.
Then why are we here?
He's a wizard lord. He works for the king. And the king... I would have words with him. We fight the lord, beat him, we get to the king.
But why this lord?
What?
There are lords throughout the land. Why this one?
He's near, and he's rich.
And that's all this is to you?
Take a look at that staff you are carrying. Pitiful. Barely enough magic in it to learn student spells, let alone fight a wizard. Do you know how to make a staff? Do you know how to bend the wood to your will, to channel the power of the vortex? And what of sigils? Talismans? You can craft these? No? You fight a wizard with that sapling. You fail. This king, bad for everyone. Slaves, sacrifices, pain. If you want to fight that, you need power. Power is better magic. Better magic costs money. Alchemists, artificers, they all take their cut. Freedom isn't free.
I'll get some more wood.
What was that?
What was what?
Quiet! Now where did that come from?
Is this enough? I found a... What's that?
Shh!
What is it?
It's a totem. Wizards use them to make their armies stronger.
Where did it come from?
It was summoned by the wizard we're hunting.
He's here.
Of course he's here. He's been here all the time. Haven't you?
That's very good. I was wondering how long it would take you to work it out.
I had my suspicions. The people you claimed were your family were afraid of you. It could have been the power. But it seemed like they didn't really know you.
They were serving my wishes.
Then, the second time you came back from gathering wood,
Yes.
you changed your staff. Left it in a tree hollow, did you?
Very good. Is that all?
No. You asked why we go after this lord.
So?
You're blind to the hatred your subjects have for you. No one from that town would question why we go after you. You are a monster.
Says the wizard who's come to tear me away from the life I've created.
I give you one chance. Put down your staff. Surrender yourself to Limbo. You will be treated fairly.
Never. Go crawling back to that lifeless grey ball of sleep and famine. Not when I command everything that happens here.
I promise you I will not let you leave this forest.
Forest. Fool! This isn't a forest. This is an army. A Kumbaniathesa.
Goblins!
You're surrounded, wizard. I send you back with your tail between your legs.
It will take more than a handful of goblins to stay my hand. Your judgment is come.
Then have at you, wizard, if you have it in you. Here!
I'll glaive!
In that episode of Chaos Reborn: The Audio Adventures, Di Reese played the wizard, Christopher Jarvis was the protege. The episode was written and directed by Christopher Jarvis. Chaos Reborn game sound effects and music are copyright Snapshot Games. The series is produced by Christopher Jarvis and is a Radio Theatre Workshop production. To find out more, please visit radiotheatreworkshop.com. If you've enjoyed this episode, please back my Kickstarter to produce the full series. The project page can be found at tinyurl.com/Chaos Reborn Audio. Thank you for listening. Hello everybody, hopefully I am back and hopefully you can hear me this time instead of doing what I did last time, which is bring the video back and then not actually be talking to any of you. Let me just make sure that this is going to fill the screen. There we go, that's lovely. So yes, I'm joined by game design legend Julian Gollop. I hope you never get tired of people calling you that.
Hello, yeah. Well, it's very flattering, actually. Yeah, keep it up.
I think a lot of people, I think particularly among the kind of Elite Dangerous community, I think because of the age, a lot of the Elite Dangerous players a lot of them will have played things like the original UFO defense and even going. I mean, I always have to confess that I never played Chaos on the Spectrum because I was way too young to. Games like Elite and Chaos went way over my head. I was playing things like Cosmic Kanga. I used to play on the Spectrum, and you would not believe how long it took me to realise how bad a game that was. And it was only when I realised, when I got good enough to get to level 2, and I realised that it was exactly the same level design, but reskinned with different graphics. That was how bad that game was.
Yeah.
I won't get you to comment on it because you might know the people involved.
No, I don't know the game. Never heard of it. I guess things got better after that.
Yeah, it was just kind of I mean, I suppose games were quite early back then, and things were coalescing into certain genres. And Cosmic Kanga was a bit of a sort of what we would recognise as a platform game now. It was scrolling left to right. It was a sort of Mario type thing. So do you have let me just close that. Let me just open up Skype. Are you webcamming or are you not webcamming? Although it doesn't look like we've got a very good network actually, so I don't know if we should push the whole webcam thing. It's fine, we'll leave it, it's going well.
I can if you want, but that's entirely up to you.
No, it's fine. Apparently Skype is making me not sound very nice, necessarily particularly well, so we'll stick with what we've got. So obviously on Lave Radio, and in terms of a lot of the videos that have done the rounds, we've streamed a fair number of Chaos matches, and I think it's fair to say that really the heart of Chaos Reborn is the matches. I mean, it's wizard dueling is the sort of the meat of the gameplay. I think that's sort of fair, isn't it? Really?
Yes.
But there is, but there is as well, as the game's been sort of developed, you have built this sort of RPG questing element on top of it, which still uses the wizard battling as the core of the experience. But there is actually this whole other kind of meta game around it, which I think, in terms of the videos I've seen, is there's a whole amount to that, which is, I personally think, quite underrepresented.
Yes.
I'm just going to just because we are what I'm going to do is, for the people that are watching me on Twitch, I also have a Kickstarter going for original full cast audio drama based on Chaos Reborn. So if you like what I've done with Escape Velocity and Elite Dangerous, we're basically doing the same thing with Chaos Reborn, where we're producing full cast audio drama. Again, it's based on the player experience. These are going to be adventures which hopefully will sound and feel like the experience of playing the Realms of Chaos Reborn. The big difference being that what we're doing with Julian is we have an official license with Julian to produce these, and once the Kickstarter's done, these Chaos Reborn audios will be available as commercial products. Let me just add in some text. So the link to that, the link to the Chaos Reborn audio drama is tinyurl.com/chaos audio, or Chaos Reborn audio, I think is possibly the other one. So let me just put that up on screen for people. So that, again, it's a bit like the situation we are with the Patreon. This Kickstarter is already funded, but we are funded for one episode on the Kickstarter, and what I would really like to be able to do is produce an entire series. Chaos Reborn is excellent. There are so many stories that we could tell in that world, and I've got 4 planned already. And at the moment on the Kickstarter, we are short of our first stretch goal, which is for episode 2. So please, if you like the work that I do and you like the audio drama that we produce, then do please go and support that Kickstarter as well. So on to
yes, absolutely, I can second that.
Thank you very much. So Dave is saying it's already up, Chris. I'm not sure exactly what he means by that. Let me just see what's happening. I'm not sure exactly what he means. Oh, I see. Sorry. Yes, that's fine. So the Kickstarter is on £3,053. If we get to £5,000, that is the budget for second episode. If people are wondering why the budgets for Escape Velocity and Chaos are very different, a lot of the reason for that is because the Kickstarter involves physical rewards up front. We've obviously had to budget in for those. So if you scroll down the Kickstarter, you can see the cost breakdown. Just under a quarter of that is physical rewards, plus the actors that we're using for Chaos Reborn. Because I just didn't want to recycle everyone from Escape Velocity, we are completely going out for actors. Not completely, but a lot of the cast of Chaos Reborn is going to be from agencies, so I don't know these people and I don't get mates rates, so the actor budget for Chaos Reborn is a lot higher. Also, each episode of Chaos Reborn is going to be an hour. It's not an ongoing podcast like Escape Velocity. The Chaos Reborn ones are individual 1-hour dramas, so they're like mini movies. So that's the Chaos audio Kickstarter. So yeah, if we so just go into Chaos here, multiplayer and Realms. So quick match here would take you straight into a match with a player. So we've got this lovely new scene here. This is my lovely wizard, almost completely lacking in talismans because Julian, you've reset everyone's player with the release of the full game. So
everybody was reset from scratch. Yeah.
Which is a great idea. But it does mean I can't show off all my lovely talismans that I had in beta. I'll have to go and earn them all again. So yeah, there's all sorts going on. And again, there's another way of getting into multiplayer combat down here. Oh, my face is in the way of the button I'm about to press. But we're going into Realms of Chaos. So talk us through a little bit about this, Julian. What exactly have we got here? Sorry, you can't see my screen, can you? Are you watching the stream?
No, maybe I should actually. I should watch the stream, shouldn't I? But okay, I'm trying to find it now.
I didn't think of that.
Good grief! What's the link again?
It's twitch.tv/Lave Radio.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. So, let me just get that.
I'm having to ask the Twitch chat if my stream is working because I've just noticed that I'd minimised the Lave Radio Twitch onto the bottom of my display, and it's actually not displaying anything at the moment. So, okay, that's good to know that we are still live. I think maybe my connection to Twitch isn't very good. I'm probably trying to do quite a lot on my network connection, and it's struggling. So what I've basically got up at the moment, Julian, is I've got up the screen that says Enter New Realm and Lord Duty. Just talk us through Lord Duty a second for a moment. What's that? Because I confess I haven't been into that yet.
Right, so this is an interesting part of the game. So Lord Duty is open to players who are currently Wizard Lords. whether some of our early Kickstarter backers or players who will get promoted to Wizard Lord. Promotions haven't happened yet. So the idea is that you can volunteer your wizard to be a sort of non-player character Wizard Lord in someone else's realm. And the Wizard Kings who are designing the realms can pick your wizard to defend one of the structures or places within their realm. And what you need to do for Wizard Lord duty is something very simple. You just need to configure your wizard with equipment and talismans, and then hope that some Wizard King will pick you because of your well thought out combination of equipment, or maybe because you've got some good looking equipment or an interesting name or something like that. They will pick you out and put them in their realm. And when they've done that, you can then earn points for battles that you fight as a Wizard Lord. You earn 1 point for a battle which is lost, and 2 points for a battle which is won. Or is it 3 points for a battle which is won? Oh, I forget that. And these little points are then used in the process of trying to get promoted to be Wizard King yourself, whereupon you can start designing your own realms.
Fab. Oh, so you can play and get to the level of being a Wizard King as well. That's not just a back.
You can, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are a number of ways you can qualify to be that. But yeah, so the first thing you need to do is get promoted to be a Wizard Lord. That's more relatively straightforward because you need to reach a certain wizard level, and you need to have completed a realm, or you need to have reached Archwizard level and your preferences, a single multiplayer, doesn't matter. Once you've got those qualifications under your belt, you will become a Wizard Lord, and then you can start volunteering for Lord duty and earning Lord points, as we call them. And then the top 5 or 10%, I can't remember exactly how we're going to fix it yet, of Wizard Lord players in terms of Lord points each month will get promoted to Wizard King.
Okay. That's interesting.
It's a bit like a feudal pyramid, but with more a bit more social mobility, shall we say?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's your character carries on playing for you when you're offline as an NPC. So it's almost, this is another meta game about setting up a wizard.
Yes.
That's quite difficult to beat.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. That's an interesting little meta game, because I thought, before I'd clicked on it, I thought Wizard Lord duty was a bit like when you set your ally or invader token. I thought it was like that. I thought you sat on this screen until you got dragged into battles. So that's a really interesting clarification. That's really good.
Yeah, it works a bit differently to that. Yeah. So I mean, as soon as you volunteer for Wizard Lord duty, it's a question of waiting for Wizard Lord Kings who are designing the realms to incorporate your wizard. At which point you'll be able to see which realms you're included in, and you'll be able to see how well you're doing in each of those realms.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So let's head into a realm. I haven't actually got one set at the moment. One of the things that's quite nice with this game is that if you don't manage to finish a realm, when you quit out of the game and come back in, it obviously sort of remembers where you were. Now, a lot of this this has really expanded since I last looked at it a couple of days ago. The pre-release version of Chaos Reborn. So for people who don't know, the official version 1 of Chaos Reborn is actually only been out. It's 2 weeks now, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. So in some respects, this is a whole new version I'm seeing. And one of the things that's been added in this 1.0 release is the ability for players to create their own realms. So in the pre-release version, we had something like 9 or 10 realms to choose from that had all been created by Snapshot Games, by your team. And actually, what we've got now is these people here, these creators. These are all Wizard Kings who have created realms that other players can play. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, so the game.
Only one of those I created myself, actually.
There's only one, is there?
There's only one that I created there. Yes. Yeah.
Ah.
That's Goblins and Gravelings a bit. So. That's the one I created, which is designed to be a relatively introductory realm.
Well, let's go.
But there are some others which are really good.
Yeah, I saw. There was one of the guys had done. It's this one here by Ped. It's a good place to start. And I had a bit of a look through that, and
that's also a tutorial realm.
Yeah, he's taken it unto himself to kind of write a tutorial about how you play Chaos. And it's
Yes.
funny because it's a very different
that's
focus
right,
from
yeah.
your own tutorial. His comes across as like, okay,
Yeah.
players, this is what you need to do. In terms of, it's almost like,
it goes straight to the point.
yeah,
But a really good realm which I have played is called RNG's Curse, which is a bit lower down.
what's this one?
Which is RNG or RNG's Curse is a bit lower,
Okay, is that one good? Is it? Should we take a look at that?
below Easy Start. That's a good one.
Okay, well let's go.
I
With
think that may be a good one to start with. Yeah.
it. Okay. So, how's the launch gone from your point of view? I mean, because I think I'd found because we were doing Chaos Champs, we were struggling in the run up to release to get players interested in kind of coming and competing on the show, because I think a lot of the kind of pre-release players, we've obviously, some of us have been playing the Chaos prototypes in various forms for like almost 2 years, and I think I'd
Yes.
and I think we'd found. I'm not asking you to sort of confirm on this, but I'd personally found that actually maybe a lot of the players who'd been playing it for a long time had actually maybe sort of played the game out a little bit from their point of view. So we were looking forward to an influx of new players. Have you found that there's been a lot of people come on board since version 1 was released?
Oh yeah, certainly. Yeah. Quite a few thousand people have come on board since then. So there are a lot of new players for sure, and a lot of players struggling with various things, and the older players are helping out very well, actually, I think.
Oh, excellent. That's brilliant. Yeah, and I think sometimes you find that when you actually have like another release of the game, that actually maybe some of the older players who've maybe sort of drifted off, that actually do release new content, gives them a new kind of reason to come back and be enthusiastic, and I think helping new players is always a great sort of thing. Certainly from my own point of view, in terms of seeing how many people are now playing the game, I set my ally or invade token the other day to invade, and I was being dragged into matches so quickly I didn't actually have time to turn the button off before I got dragged back into another match.
Oh yeah.
I went to click it.
Yeah, we
and
fixed
suddenly
that
it was
now.
like, oh, you fixed it. I thought that was funny because I thought, wow, there's a lot of people.
Yeah, so as soon as you've done an ally or invasion battle, you are there's like a 2-minute timeout where you can't be dragged out of your realm again.
That's cool. So
that's fixed, yeah.
yeah, so give the guys who are watching the stream, just give them some indication about that ally or invade button and what that does when you're playing in the realms.
Yeah, this is a very, very cool feature of the realms. So what you can do as you're exploring the realms is you may come across a battle which is looking very tough. Say, for example, the Wizard Lord is being reinforced with a number of creatures, 6, 7, or 8 different creatures, which can be very tough. And maybe you haven't got any mercenaries of your own to back you up. So what you can do is then request an ally, a human ally, another player who's also playing their realms, and they will come into the battle with you and join you as basically a 2 humans versus AI battle, and that can help you get through that battle. You have to pay a little bit of gold, your realm gold currency, to do that. And if you conversely, you can volunteer as an ally for other players, and you have to. There's an ally credit system, so if you want to request allies, you have to spend one of your ally credits. And the way to earn ally credits is to volunteer to be an ally. But then there's another mechanism, and that's to volunteer as an invader. And as an invader, you will actually take control over the one of the defending AI wizards. There's no longer AI, we're controlled by you. One of the defending wizards in the realm, and you'll be playing against the player of that realm in a sort of 2-player, 1 versus 1 battle. And it's possible actually to get up to 4 human players in the same battle in the realm. You can have the exploring player, the questing player with his ally, and you can have the Wizard King, who might also be an invading player, and his ally also, because the Wizard Kings have allies, could also be an invader. So it's entirely possible. And this kind of happened. This happened to me just a couple of nights ago, that I was playing as an invader. I had 6 or 7 creatures my mercenaries there, so I was quite well reinforced. And the player had an entire village of spiders with him. There were 6 spiders, but he also had a human ally. So it amounted to quite a big battle. It was a fantastic battle, actually. So when that happens, it's really cool. And again, if you win a battle as an invader, you get an ally credit to help you.
Yeah. No, that's cool. It's really interesting. I requested an ally the other day because I was playing. I might have been playing actually your realm that you created. The whatever it was. I still haven't finished it. It's quite challenging. And I'd obviously been cooling my heels or taking a while to get around because I came across this wizard. I think at the it wasn't the Mana Flux, but it might have been. It was somewhere. I can't remember where it was. But the wizard king that I was fighting already had 7 creatures. And I put the mouse over the target, and I could see he already had something like 7 rats. No, he had more than 7, because he had 7 rats and a goblin. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to need a second pair of hands.
Have a maximum of 8.
Yeah, I thought I'm going to need a second pair of hands. So I got a human ally player, and the 2 of us were just trying to... And I got killed by a rat, which is, seems to happen a lot. And it was just...
How embarrassing.
Yeah, it was just trying to exterminate. And the thing is, it wasn't a very big map either. And so it was just trying to keep these rats under control. And it was very funny because even though I'd requested an ally, I think I died on like the 2nd turn. So I was just waiting for this player whose help I'd requested to try and win this match for me. But unfortunately...
Yeah, he can win it for you, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, dear.
And it's really interesting because I've been sort of following the sort of progress on the Chaos forums and things on Steam, and there's been some misunderstanding about the co-op feature in the game because Steam doesn't give you the ability to kind of define what your co-op is. So because the co-op doesn't currently look like what some people are expecting, people are saying there's no co-op, and of course there is co-op. It's just co-op with these people that these strangers.
Yeah.
Although you have said, haven't you, that you're introducing a way of bringing your Steam friends in.
Yeah, we're working on that at the moment to think out a way to do it so that you can easily invite a friend to help you in a realm, or also to take part in the 2 versus 2 multiplayer battles, which are also pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. So I'm just going to go back to what I'm showing here on the stream. So I've moved my wizard around the game map a little bit, and I've come across a story event. And the reason I'm just going to focus on it, because actually when you're playing the game, you sort of don't hesitate on these for so long, and you sort of read them, make a choice and move on. But from an audio drama point of view, these story things that pop up are the heart of what the audio drama is kind of taking its cue from, and particularly some of the realms that were in the beta version. There were some really interesting scenarios that kind of gave me inspiration for the sorts of things we'd like to make stories about. So I don't know if some of you read this on the previous screen, but basically we're walking along the level and we come across this dwarf, and we have choices about what to do. And I've picked a choice that said, hang around and wait for this dwarf to appear and see what he says. And actually this dwarf has turned out to be friendly, and I've gained 35 gold and 20 lore kudos, which we'll come on to in a bit. And I now have the option to hire an ally for no gold. So this is one of the things you can do in the single player of Chaos. I now have, if you can see down here, this little icon. This shows that I basically now have a dwarf in my party. So when we come to a battle... Excuse me, I've been struggling with a cold. When we come to a battle, I'm going to start that battle now with a unit already in hand. And I'm going to head down to this town.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so this town has got an airship transport that we can take, and that's going to take me right to a wizard. So we'll do this, just in case some of you guys watching it, the stream, haven't seen a battle. We'll do this battle, and hopefully it won't take me the rest of my time with Julian to finish the battle. But
well, you can always die quickly, Chris.
Yeah, there is that. So the things you can do from towns, you can buy rumours, which basically, let's just do it. I've got money. So
yeah, buy a rumour. There's one rumour there. It might be worth buying just to see how it works.
Yeah,
and also you've got a little bit of a story attached to the town itself as well.
Oh, I missed that. Is that where this box? Oh, I've not seen this box.
Yeah, so that's text on the right.
Okay, so that's really nice.
Yeah, that box on the left, yeah.
Yeah, so that gives you a bit more of a flavour of sort of building the world and hearing a bit more about... Because in the earlier versions of these realms, you know, these towns were just really sort of icons where you could interact with shops and hire mercenaries. So if I hired mercenaries, they would replace my current dwarf slot here. So I just want to clarify a few things about the interface, Julian, because there's a few things that I've been playing all this time and still not understood. What...
Right.
Oh, okay, so these different slots get unlocked as your reputation increases. What drives that? What figure is that?
Reputation is driven primarily by winning battles against wizard lords and marauders. You know, your reputation as a powerful wizard in that realm is mostly based on your battle victories. You can also earn reputation from some encounters, so that's also possible as a second way to do it. But basically, at the start of the realm, your reputation is very low, and you can only hire. You can only hire one mercenary. That's all that's willing, you know, to follow you, basically. Whereas your reputation builds up, you know, you'll be able to have up to 6 mercenaries, but that takes a lot of battles, basically.
Okay, that's cool. And in terms of the rest of this, so I know some of these. Obviously, you've got your settings, you've got your tutorial, you've got your gold, lore kudos, which hopefully we'll come on to. I'm hoping that I'll get a chance to recruit a village at some point, and chaos kudos, again, we'll come on to that. Over here, every time you move, you lose time, so you have a certain amount of time to complete each realm, which is why you'll notice, even though I haven't done anything yet, I've already got a score of -10, because a certain amount of time has passed, and you lose score depending on that. But it starts off looking quite negative, but it does get better. And obviously down here we've got the ally or invade button, and we've got mana here for strategic spells. I may or may not get to that in this tutorial, but basically there are meta spells that you can cast from the map, which do certain things and make things easier. So they lift some of the fog of war. They, there's one that if you've recruited a town, it makes that town slightly stronger. There's a couple of others as well. I've temporarily forgotten. So I've come to this rumour that I uncovered here. So we're looking across at the next town, and I've got 3 choices here for what I can do. I can cautiously turn to face, I can wait and see what happens, or I can just attack. So let's just attack and see what happens. Okay. So that blob attack has killed whoever that NPC was. I probably made the wrong choice there. I will never know. I will never know what that was. But actually,
it could have been worse. Let me show you.
Brilliant. So yeah, I mean, so the players who are creating these realms, I mean, they can create these little story events, can't they?
Yeah, sure. And they can be quite fun and interesting. And this realm has got a bit of a story to it as well, based on the dwarf that he recruited. He basically wants you to save his father from the curse of RNG, who's the ruler of the realm.
That's funny. Okay, so I've used the airship now to travel over the broken sort of realm, and this is the point where I can spend one of my ally credits. Well, possibly I don't have one. Oh yeah, I do have one. If I clicked this button, I would potentially be joined by another human player who will help me to defeat this wizard. But I'm feeling reasonably confident. The thing I'm interested about, Julian, is you've taken out the auto battle button. Did you decide that wasn't working well? Oh, hello, Julian.
Sorry, Chris. Yeah, sorry, I lost you a minute there.
Are you battling children? I was just saying.
Yeah, he's banging at the door. Sorry about that.
That's right. You used to have
What was
like
the
an
question?
auto battle button for the wizard encounters. Did
Yes.
that not work out very well?
Well, the intention was to only make that available when you've got battles which are not involving a wizard. So when you've recruited a settlement and you've sent it to fight some. So that was we put it in temporarily, mainly just for testing purposes.
Okay.
But now, yes, you're required. If your wizard is in a battle, he has to fight it.
Oh, I will say, because hopefully, like I say, we will find a town to recruit. And actually, I've done a battle in this game only once, where I've used just creatures from a settlement and actually managed to kill the wizard with them. I've only managed it once. It's really hard to beat a wizard without actually having your own wizard there. But I think I had 4 unicorns or something.
Usually you need at least 2 settlements to fight 1 wizard to stand a reasonably good chance of winning.
Yeah, I think I just had a couple of I had 4 unicorns, I think, and I just managed, because they've got such a good range on them. I managed to just get in and get the wizard. So let's go into this battle.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, you can do it.
Begin battle. Okay, so so for those of you who haven't seen it, this is Chaos when it appears. So it's a hex-based battle map. Basically, it is a duel at the moment between myself, Hold My Kidney, and Lord Tyrannus. So it's turn-based, and so I don't really know. Maybe people in the chat could give me an idea of how new Chaos is to them. I need to keep moving my tiny URL because it keeps going into an area of the screen you can't see. That's the Kickstarter for the audio drama based on Chaos Reborn. So if you've just joined us, that's the other fundraiser I have for, and I'll talk a bit later about why these things have all come up at once. It was not my intention. So it's my turn. I am losing time, so I need to move up. And I'm going to start my dwarf moving because they take forever to get anywhere. They only move 1 space per turn. So, we've got a new.
I hate to say this, Chris, but the fact that you're on a timer means that you're playing an invader.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, that's really interesting. So this other wizard lord that we're fighting, this isn't AI. This is a player.
Is a human player. Yes.
So this could go horribly wrong. I'm probably going to have to play slightly differently than I was going to. Oh, and I've only look at these.
Well,
I've got really low percentage. I've got really low percentage cards.
Yeah, it really depends on the experience of that player as to how good he is. But you don't know, unfortunately.
I don't know. So I'm going to go.
We'll see what happens.
Okay, so that was a 50% casting chance. I haven't got it. I have gained myself 7 mana, so it's not all disastrous. I don't know what you think about the strategy, Julian, but I quite often, when you're in a match like this and you've still got a bit of distance between yourself and a player, I quite like casting low cards first, because I think, well, if I fail to cast it, I'm not in too much trouble, and if I do get it, I've got myself a really low percentage creature for free, basically. Is that something you would advocate?
Yes. No, I never do that.
Okay.
I don't know. I never do that, actually. I always go for, in terms of security, I usually go for the high casting creature. So I probably would have cast the dwarf, actually, or I may have discarded a few cards to boost the casting chance of the elephant there.
That's a good idea. I'm gonna.
The thing is that if you use the low casting spells up early, you may miss a chance to cast them at a much higher percentage later on. So you have to bear that in mind.
This is true. And actually, we've got here.
I will very, very rarely.
Yeah, so carry on.
So very rarely cast low casting creature spells or low casting chance spells unless I'm boosting them by mana or I've got a good bonus from the cosmic balance shift.
That's interesting.
I really just wouldn't do that now.
Okay. I'm wondering if I should warn this player that he's currently live on a Twitch stream, just in case he wonders why I'm being a bit slow.
You can say that. See what he says. Yeah.
Let's put this in the chat and see if see what the player makes of that. So that's interesting. I think this might be some. Because what I could do is to find out how experienced he is. I could cast an illusory elephant and see if he calls it out. I think actually I'm going to go for an illusion skeleton. So you've basically got. So for people who don't know, you've got the. This is where. Sorry, someone's saying in Twitch chat, what are we doing in the Elite channel? Sorry, it's because I haven't changed my Twitch heading. We're basically just doing Chaos Reborn from 5 till 6, and then we'll be back on Elite Dangerous. But this is my other audio drama that we're funding at tinyurl.com/chaos audio. So sorry, I haven't changed the heading in Twitch because I didn't turn the stream on and off. So you've got the chance. This is where the game kind of comes in. There's a sort of poker aspect to it, because I've only got a 77% chance of getting this skeleton, or I could get one at 100%, but it's fake and it can be destroyed by a disbelieve spell. So I'm going to go for an illusion and see if this player thinks of that.
I think that's a good move, actually.
I like skeleton.
I would do the same.
Yeah, I like skeleton as an illusion because it's a high enough casting chance that maybe people won't waste their disbelieve on it. You know, they won't risk it.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
And yeah, so I think I've talked to you about.
And you also want to cast illusions early on in the game, not later.
Oh, was that? Did he just find a mana sprite? So
I was going for that mana sprite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm a bit suspicious about his manticore. Interesting. Let's move you up, and I could do with the skeleton covering me, so I'm just going to move the skeleton to there, and I'm going to see if I can get into this mana sprite. The other players just said,
yeah, you need to get to it.
Yeah, I would like a bit more mana.
You're immediately in danger now because he can attack you with that manticore.
1, 2,
immediately
3.
in danger.
I have made a noob error. I am in range of a magic bolt, so I want to try and cast something that's going to sit in front of me.
Yeah.
Is a dwarf high enough to give me coverage?
No. No. Dwarf is no good for you at this point. Absolutely no good. You need something easier.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
A bit better. I mean, the elephant is good. Manticore might be your best bet, and I would discard a card. I would discard your Dispel card to boost the chance of the Manticore.
That's cool. Oh, and I gave myself a goblin. Is a goblin tall enough?
Yes, it is.
I don't understand the height, because wizards are height too, aren't they? Yeah, that's cool. So let's go for that. So I can actually get...
Yeah, almost everything is height too. It's only the dwarves and the rats are unfortunately a bit lower.
Okay. I'll give this person in chat the... actually, I won't give him the Twitch stream, because then he can see my cards. I've actually been...
Okay, you can cheat.
I've actually been having a lot of fun with the ally and invader mechanic, because I quite like going into other people's realms as an invader, and I've been having a lot of fun role-playing with them and pretending to be the wizard that they're attacking, and it's funny because a lot of them haven't twigged on to the fact that their opponent can actually be a live player, and I've had some really interesting conversations with people that like, are you real or AI? And I realised I should have said,
yes,
of course I'm not AI brackets player name. But yeah, so some people in chat are saying that Chaos Reborn, like Elite Dangerous, a successful Reborn, a classic. What's interesting actually about what I hadn't appreciated is the original Chaos came out the same year as Elite. I hadn't really appreciated that recently. Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, amazing.
Okay, so he's cast 3. He's got 3 creatures for the price of 1 there. So I think I'm feeling. How confident am I feeling? If I move back, he's got crazy movement range now, hasn't he? Because of
you still need to be very worried about his Manticore.
Yeah,
Manticore can fly 3 spaces.
This is why I miss my talismans. I really miss not having Gooey Blob bound to my staff. I'm going to go for a the Vampire, and I'm going to see if I can get one that might just keep him at bay. Okay, that's I think I might just need to reposition slightly. So I'm still a bit confused in this game, Julian, about line of sight. Is this something that you can clarify? Is there going to be different tools coming up for working out line of sight, or?
Well, line of sight follows a very specific rule set, which you can see in the game guide.
Okay.
We may simplify it a little bit, but if you check in the game guide on the line of sight tab, it should explain everything that you need to know for you to be able to predict line of sight fairly accurately.
Okay, awesome. So for those of you who aren't appreciative of the rules, one of the reasons I'm quite confident about this flank here, not very confident, but fairly confident, enemy units can't move past each other, and also skeletons, because they're undead, they can't be attacked by normal creatures. They can only be attacked by other undead or magical creatures. So this skeleton here, if I click on Julian's units, not Julian's, oh, I accidentally killed that rat, never mind. If I click on my opponent's units here, you'll see that rat can't attack the skeleton, and that's because the rat is a living creature and therefore can't do anything. So let's see if I can take this manticore out. That'd be really handy. Yeah, that's more like it. In which case I might confidently start moving my units up. So I don't think...
Yeah, that was the main threat.
Yeah, I might be being rude about this player here, but I think on the basis that he didn't make... he's quite unhappy with my dwarf. On the basis that he didn't make much of
You could say that.
Of the manticore while he had it, I think he must be reasonably inexperienced. Okay, so I've just used Raised Dead. I now have myself an undead rat, which is amazing. I'm hoping it's going to be a hero rat for me, because I always seem to get killed by rats. So I'm hoping that I have as much luck with other people. They are so. There's one of the
you can of course kill it with a magical attack. But...
Yeah, but then I'm using up his magical attack. I mean, which is another thing I quite like about.
Exactly, you're wasting up one of his very useful spells basically on just a rat. But I would definitely recommend that you try and find a mount to ride, and we've got manticores are obviously good for you here.
Yeah, we've got... So the chaos on the map is going up 24... We're on plus 24%, which means that all these casting chances for these chaos cards, these red ones, these have gone up by 24%. So there's a kind of misunderstanding about this game, and I've seen, Julian, you've weighed in a few times on forums where people are sort of complaining about the outcome of the game being luck. Because obviously, I mean, you know, you've written lots of articles. Yeah. Luck plays a huge factor, but actually, that's funny. He's just used a magic bolt and discovered that my skeleton was a fake. That is entertaining.
Yes, he's cursing himself now.
Yeah,
sure.
There is. I mean, there's luck and there's luck. I mean, we were talking before about how I was in range of the guy's magic bolt, and magic bolt is an 80% attack. But realistically, if you don't put yourself in range of the wizard, it's 0%. You know, you can't be attacked by a spell you're not in range of. So, really, it's about... People say it's about managing the RNG. It's not really about managing the RNG. It's about managing the risk of the situation that you put yourself in. You know, realistically.
Yeah. In most cases, you do not want to put your wizard at any risk at all, especially in the early stages of the game. Later points, it can be more difficult. You might need to risk your wizard in order to stand a chance of winning.
Yeah.
And yes, something that new players are very, unskilled at is how to maneuver your wizard's new spells to keep yourself out of danger initially. They tend to be overly aggressive, and when you get newbies playing newbies, they say, "Oh well, the game is all luck." Well, it probably is, because they're both doing stuff. The moves they're making are risky, and therefore, they're opening themselves up to being killed. Now, if the newbie played an expert player, they would very, very, very probably lose.
Yeah,
and if it was like a best of, say, 5 or 11 games with an expert player, they will pretty much certainly lose.
Okay, this player's had 2 magic bolts now.
They might still claim the dislike.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I've lost my vampire, which is a real pity, because I do like my vampires. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna. What do I want to do? I've actually, do you know what? Recently, I've got a newfound respect for the Goblin. I think I thought of Goblins as being a very cheap unit, and I think that's largely because. Do you find that there's a sort of bias with players that they think that units are weaker if they have a high casting chance? I mean, I think because it seems like you're basically getting a unit for almost nothing, do people sort of assume that they're weak?
There is that kind of assumption, but actually the Goblin is quite good attack and quite good defense. I mean, his weakness is that his magic resistance is pretty poor. But he's very useful, especially in the early stages of the game. And again, it's something that I would quite often cast as an illusion because it's very unlikely to be disbelieved. So again, it's a question of why take that 10% risk that you'll fail when the actual risk of him disbelieving it is even lower.
Yeah, absolutely.
In some cases, players are clever enough.
Yeah. So for those of you who've joined recently, I'm joined by Julian Gollop, again, game design legend. This is your game, Julian. This is Chaos Reborn, which is an update of the original Chaos on the Spectrum and later Lords of Chaos. It's another successful Kickstarter. We're talking about this for an hour. We're taking a break out of Elite for a moment, partly because I have a Kickstarter going for official audio, also based on Chaos Reborn, and that is currently running alongside the Patreon for Escape Velocity. So if you would like to support the audio drama for this as well, because it's an incredible fantasy world, that's at the URL on screen, which is tinyurl.com chaos audio. And for those of you who really don't understand the game, I might be about to win. Hang on. It's a little bit like chess, except that you summon. So this is why the Goblin's great. The Goblin's got a 60% chance of the Wizard. I learnt this recently, that Goblins have a much higher attack than I thought they did. Because I think I've lost my last 3 matches to Goblins. There we go. So, it's basically, I mean, I think, Julian, it's a fair description. It's a bit like chess if you started off your game of chess with no units and you gradually summoned them, and there was a percentage chance or not of either getting your units or not, and actually them attacking or not. Is that sort of fair? Is it sort of chess with sort of
I think it has a lot of elements of the very... From chess, I guess, there's a lot of the careful positioning of chess and trying to think more than one move ahead. That element is very strong in Chaos Reborn. And again, it's a little bit difficult for maybe new players to learn straight away, but it's something you appreciate as you play more and more. I mean, the chance factor, the poker factor, I guess, is the ability to manage probabilities properly and to obviously bluff correctly with your illusions and disbeliefs. And the bluffing is quite an important psychological element of the game, which can be very, very interesting. And again, something that new players don't often get right. They tend to be reluctant to both cast illusions and disbelieve them. But as you gain a bit more experience, you learn how to use that quite effectively.
Absolutely. So I'm just looking. I found a village here. This is an elven village. I'm not going to go there because at the moment to recruit that village I need 80 lore kudos and I've only got 70, and if I click on that village I will have to slaughter all those elves for no apparently good reason. So other than to gain, if I wanted to gain chaos kudos, killing a village full of elves would be a great idea.
You could do that.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see if this player has...
You need to head down a bit, by the way. I'll give you some advice that you've missed something.
Not that. I've just found a citadel with another wizard in it.
No, that's the ruins, actually. That's the ruins.
Is it a citadel when I mouse over it? Oh, this one up here is ruins, yeah. I think...
that's the ruins on the top left. So, that one is a citadel. Yeah, that's what you need to go. Yeah, you need to attack the citadel.
So I think... I'm just giving people an overview. Oh, I can't cancel that move now. What I would ideally do... Oh, there's a goblin village there. So destroying this wizard would give me more kudos, which would mean I can recruit this elven village, who basically then become allies to my cause. And I kind of really want to show people that, so I'm hoping that we're not going to run out of time.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
So are you finding now, Julian, with the numbers of players that are now playing Chaos Reborn, that actually you are quite likely to get a human opponent a lot of the time, or is it actually?
I wouldn't. It's not a lot of the time, no.
Okay.
I think players are more willing to ally with other players than maybe be invaders, which is understandable. But it depends. I mean, we haven't gathered statistics yet. We'll be gathering them, and but generally, at any point, there are a number of matches involving allies and invaders going on.
So again, for those of you who are maybe new to Chaos Reborn on the stream, I will I will kind of big this up. Sorry, Julian. But I'm obviously really grateful to the fact that Julian has provided a number of Chaos Reborn Steam licenses for the Kickstarter so that we can offer audio drama and game bundles to people who maybe want to kind of experience both. So if you don't have Chaos Reborn and you would like to back the audio Kickstarter, there are pledge tiers that get you the audio drama and the game. Having said that, also if you'd like to support Julian's game, it is available on Steam. And it's a very reasonably priced game, and I think just because of the nature of the way the PvP works, I think it's a game that even if say down the line you kind of grow tired of the sort of I've put myself in range of an eagle, haven't I? Oh no, not quite. If you get tired of the single player kind of realm questing and grinding and you feel you've got all the equipment you want, the actual player versus player matches of Chaos, they are always different and they are always amazing. And the other reason I kind of want to encourage loads of people from here to sort of get into it is, John Stabler and I would love more players to come and compete in Chaos Champs. We are putting together a tournament which will be played over a number of weeks on Twitch. And really for the purposes of promoting Chaos Reborn, because we think actually it's an excellent game to spectate. I apologise, I'm not really giving you people a very good commentary on this match that I'm playing, but actually it's a fascinating game and well worthy of people's attention. So do go and get it. I'm not doing very well with my mid-level casting chances today, unfortunately. I mean, going back to the random thing, I think that's the thing where people find it unfair, because you may be... Oh, I didn't think I was still in range of that eagle. Oops.
Yeah, eagle's got a range of 4.
Yeah, I mean, if it's your first game and you lose 3 90% in a row, that's where the game suddenly feels very unfair. And actually, it takes you a while to sort of come to realise that actually losing 90% 3 times in a row doesn't actually happen very often. Oh, that's interesting. I've actually got...
no, it doesn't, but I mean, it's entirely possible with a random system.
Yeah.
Of course, the obverse of that is you'll benefit from the random number 3 times in a row as well.
Yeah.
But there does tend to be a bit of negativity bias in human perception when it comes to random numbers for some reason.
I'm doing really badly here.
And also, people tend to
so unfair.
tend to think that random numbers don't generate sequences of similar outcomes, whereas of course they do.
Yeah, and you haven't been tempted then by some of the reactions of people, because a lot of people would kind of rush to correct things that they're getting sort of negative comments about. But I mean, you haven't rushed to rethink the basis of your number generation to sort of make it seem a bit more distributed at all.
No, I mean the distribution is completely fair, and if you play even just one game of Chaos Reborn, the actual distribution tends to be reasonably fair. You're getting attacked by this eagle quite a lot.
Yeah, I survived 2 attacks of the eagle. I'm quite pleased with myself. I think I'm going to go a bit strategic.
But I mean, some people do make some funny comments. Like one player said the other day that he was complaining about the random number generator and says that it will screw you in the end. But of course, it won't screw you in the end. It will screw you in the short term, but in the long term, the random outcomes even out pretty much.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the thing. That's what I was saying. Maybe it's a game that kind of sometimes new players find unfair, because, like I say, you can play your first game. I mean, it's one of the few games I've ever played where you could fail the tutorial.
You can. You have to accept the fact Yeah, you've definitely got to accept the fact that you are going to lose games, even though you've done what you think is exactly the right thing. That is going to happen.
Yeah, and I think, but it's one of those games.
It's not going to happen very often, but
yeah, and as you say, the more you stick with the game, because of the way statistical probability works out, the more likely you are to see your luck kind of actually come and go and balance out and be a bit fairer.
Yeah, well, yeah, luck goes both ways.
Yeah.
But in the end, of course, it's the skill that will determine who the best players are.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just check my these places. I need to check my timetable and make sure I'm not meant to be meeting somebody else at this time. Oh yeah, I am. Okay. Okay, so I might actually wrap things up here. I really wanted to show more of the realms today than I think we've been talking about too much interesting stuff, and I've not been able to kind of show people as much of a realm as I wanted. But actually, there is a whole meta game on the realm. I mean, this wizard battling, this turn-based combat with percentage casting spells and percentage casting to hit. It's a really intricate turn-based strategy game that I thoroughly recommend everyone gets their heads around. It's brilliant. And again, the world that this game is creating, this fantasy world with the broken landscape and everything, it's going to create an incredible audio drama, and I do encourage people to get on board with the Kickstarter for that. But I haven't been able to show you the meta game, which is, there's some really interesting stuff around where you recruit sort of monster nests, and then once you've recruited the monster nest, you can send units from that nest to a wizard. And what will happen is, so if you find a spider's nest, you can recruit those spiders and send them to a wizard, and what they'll do is they'll go and sit outside the wizard's castle and wait for you to arrive, and suddenly when you go and attack that wizard, you find yourself with an army of sort of 4 spiders before the match has even started. Which is, I think the meta game, Julian, is absolutely brilliant.
Oh, thanks, Chris.
Thanks very much for joining me, Julian. Good luck with the rest of sort of Chaos Reborn's early sort of period. I've really enjoyed having you on the show, and hopefully we'll do some more stuff another time. And yeah, I've really appreciated having you here. Thank you very much.
Be my pleasure. Thanks.
Cheers, Bye. Julian. And thank you all very much on the Elite stream for bearing with me for an hour while I talk about the other game and the other project. It's been a pleasure to have Julian on, and it's been a pleasure just to have some of you even backing the Chaos Reborn Kickstarter while I've been talking about it. If you want to back the official audio drama for Chaos Reborn, that's the URL at the top of the screen, which is tinyurl.com/chaos audio. And I'm going to head back into Elite Dangerous in a moment, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some music for you. I'm going to break the stream so that it's another 2-hour video, and I'm going to restart it, so apologies. And hopefully I'm going to be joined by my second guest, Rebecca Keeves, who played Lorand in Series 1 of Escape Velocity, and various bit parts in Series 2 of Escape Velocity, and we'll be hopefully getting some more insights from her. So thank you very much, and we'll be back in a moment.
Okay.
Oh my god, Elite's opened in the wrong window. Hello and welcome back. Hopefully I'm talking and you can hear me. I am joined by Rebecca Keeves, actress who was in season 1 of Escape Velocity as the agent Lorand, and then I kind of killed you off, and then you were in season 2 as I suppose a number of different voices.